Hello, it is Tuesday, which as we know on Quiet as Mouse means Reviews Day, and this week is book reviews. And the book that I'm reviewing this week is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. So the story starts with Margaret, who is a woman who has always been surrounded by books. She grew up in a bookshop which her father owns. She now lives above that bookshop. She is also a biographer, and one day she receives a letter from a famous author called Vida Winter, who asks her to come to her house and be her official biographer. She wants to tell the story of her childhood, which has never been told before. And then the rest of the story is sort of in two bits, where one part is Margaret's story and her relationship with Vida Winter and her increasing interest in Winter's story, and then the other part is the story that Vida Winter tells, which is the story of her childhood, which is very unusual. It's a gothic novel, it's a bit of a ghost story, there's quite a lot of mystery to it, there are twists and turns and shocks. It's very atmospheric, it's a story about twins. I really love this book, I would quite happily have read it all in one sitting. Unfortunately I was mainly reading it on trains, so that wasn't really possible. I was really impressed by Setterfield's writing. This is her first novel and I'd never heard of her before I came across this book. She writes characters well and the reader really comes away with a good understanding of who the characters are and why they do what they do, and although many characters aren't likeable, you feel like you understand where they're coming from and why they are the way that they are. I first discovered this book through the TV adaptation of it on the BBC last Christmas, and I recommend that as well. It stars Vanessa Redgrave, Olivia Colman and Sophie Turner. I watched it again last night and it was more different from the book than I remembered, but it was still really good. However, I would very strongly suggest that you read the book first, because my enjoyment of the book was slightly reduced by the fact that I knew what some of the twists and turns were. And the book is, in my opinion, better. So if you only want one, then go for the book. Yes, I love this book and I think it's going on to my list of top 10 books now, and I'll give it a 4.7. In 2 weeks time, on the 12th of August, I shall be reviewing The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, and then the book I shall be doing after that, on the 26th of August, is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Jane Eyre is actually mentioned in The 13th Tale several times, so although it was already on my list of books that I really had to read, it has now jumped up that list and is now going to be straight after Ocean at the End of the Lane. I've been reading sort of modern novels for a while now, so I'm looking forward to getting back to, the 19th century. Also, because it's a 19th century novel, it means that if you would like to read this book along with me, then you can for free in ebook form, because it is out of copyright. This book is for some reason the heaviest book that I own, so I am going to find a slightly smaller travel-friendly version. Let me know what you thought about The 13th Tale if you have read it or seen the TV adaptation. No spoilers please, and see you tomorrow.